Welcome to our channel. Today's topic is of great importance to global politics. Donald Trump, preparing to assume office as the next U.S. president, recently visited Paris, where he held significant talks with Emmanuel Macron and Volodymyr Zelenskyy. These events have already raised many questions. Will the United States maintain its support for Ukraine, or are major changes on the horizon? Let's dive into what happened in Paris, the steps being taken by the Biden administration, and how this could impact Ukraine's future and the world as a whole. Let's get started. France recently became the stage for significant diplomatic events, as Donald Trump, the president-elect of the United States, took center stage during the grand reopening of the restored Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Alongside the ceremonial activities, Trump held talks with French President Emmanuel Macron and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. These meetings, marking Trump's first major engagement with European and Ukrainian leaders since his election, highlight the growing significance of the new U.S. administration for global politics. Macron's reception was rich with symbolism: a red carpet, formal atmosphere, and the presence of the Republican Guard emphasized the importance of Trump's visit. Yet the central focus was the three-way talks with Zelenskyy, initiated by Macron. These discussions aimed to clarify how the incoming U.S. administration might shape its foreign policy priorities, particularly regarding the war in Ukraine. Zelenskyy sought to convince Trump of the need for continued U.S. military support, warning that any pause or reduction in assistance could lead to catastrophic consequences on the battlefield and shift the regional balance of power. Macron, on the other hand, framed the issue as a global challenge, stressing that Ukraine's success is critical not just for Europe, but for the entire Western world. However, the composition of Trump's delegation, which reportedly lacked experts on Ukraine, raised doubts about the depth of the discussions. This is particularly concerning given Trump's previously stated skepticism about U.S. support for Ukraine. His past remarks about aid being excessive and his close relationship with Vladimir Putin cast uncertainty on the new administration's willingness to maintain current levels of assistance. Trump's visit to Notre Dame was accompanied by diplomatic gestures emphasizing France's efforts to strengthen transatlantic ties. Paris made it clear that it views the United States as a key partner in ensuring European security. However, Trump's America First policy and prior criticism of NATO have already created unease among European leaders about the future of these alliances. Amid these developments, the Biden administration is working to solidify Ukraine's position before the transition of power in Washington. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin recently announced a new aid package worth nearly $1 billion. This funding will go toward long-term deliveries of advanced weaponry, such as HIMARS and drones, under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. Unlike emergency aid, these investments are designed to bolster Ukraine's defense capabilities over the long term, ensuring the resilience of its military for years to come. Additionally, a separate $725 million package has been approved for the immediate delivery of weapons and ammunition from existing Pentagon stockpiles, underscoring the urgency of Ukraine's needs. Since the beginning of the war, total U.S. military aid to Ukraine has exceeded $62 billion. This assistance has played a decisive role in countering Russian aggression. Meanwhile, Russia continues to escalate its campaign against Ukraine. The Kremlin has deployed North Korean troops to compensate for losses and regularly targets Ukrainian infrastructure. These actions highlight the necessity of continued Western military support. The Biden administration, aware of potential changes in U.S. policy under Trump, is moving quickly to reinforce Ukraine's position before the inauguration. Trump has repeatedly expressed skepticism about U.S. support for Ukraine, calling it excessive and promising to end the war quickly, though without providing specifics. His apparent admiration for Vladimir Putin and statements suggesting a potential shift in priorities raise serious concerns in Kyiv. Nonetheless, Zelenskyy remains steadfast in his diplomatic efforts, using every opportunity to advocate for his country's cause. European leaders are also striving to influence Trump. Macron, hosting Trump in Paris, emphasized the importance of allied relations and made it clear that Ukraine's defeat or unfavorable peace terms would undermine the credibility of the West. At the same time, many fear that Trump's policies could weaken transatlantic cooperation and jeopardize NATO's unity. Domestically, the Biden administration is racing to utilize all remaining congressional funds to secure Ukraine's position before the transition. Bipartisan leaders, like Mitch McConnell, stress the importance of continued support, calling Ukraine a cornerstone of global security. However, growing political tensions and criticism of spending at home could complicate these efforts. The future of U.S. support for Ukraine remains an open question. This decision will not only determine Ukraine's fate, but also impact the global balance of power. Will Donald Trump maintain the course of support for Ukraine, or will his administration take a different path? We'll continue to monitor developments. Share your thoughts in the comments. Will U.S. aid for Ukraine persist? And what could the next phase of this complex geopolitical struggle look like?